Hi, I'm Gary Hess from Phase 2 Music, and I love controlling the amount of overdrive I get just for my technique. Now, this is something that many pedals can do, some can't, and it really comes down to how much control you have over where that overdrive kicks in. Again, if I go play that sound, as you can tell, if I pick lightly, it's clean, but if I dig in, now, not all pedals can do that. Many can, many can't. But to get that exact sweet spot where it works for your playing technique with your guitar, your amp, etc., you want to be able to dial in that point pretty close. I'm going to go show you what I mean. I'll start off by talking about my clean tone. It's going from my guitar through whatever overdrive pedals I have on, into an Empress compressor, to a Dream 65, to a Strymon Flint. Again, my clean sound. The sound with the integrated overdrive. Again, it can be pretty transparent at times if you want it to be. I'll go compare it now. I'm going to strum the integrated overdrive with a pick. I'll compare that to a tube screamer. And by the way, that's not trying to trick it out, and I'll show what I mean later. Integrated overdrive, tube screamer, integrated overdrive, tube screamer. So I'm now going to explain what you just heard visually and from an engineering standpoint. A few graphs to explain this. This first graph is just going to show the output from the guitar going into the guitar pedal versus the output of the guitar pedal, just in terms of volts. The x-axis goes from very quiet to very loud. Think of these values through here as almost inaudible. Here is sort of slight finger picking. Here you're going to start to get typical strumming, and here is very aggressive strumming. I know people who, when they strum away, boy, they're always up here. I tend to have a fairly light touch. It's a personal preference thing. Whatever you want, that's what it is. Notice that the output voltage increases in a linear fashion, like a line, as you play. But then all of a sudden you get to a certain part where the output voltage isn't increasing much anymore, although you're giving it a lot more input. What gives? So here's another chart. In this chart I am now showing this is the total harmonic distortion of that signal as well as the output voltage. What you see here is that really low numbers of distortion up until that knee, and then all of a sudden the distortion number increases. And it goes eventually sort of flatlines. So right around here, it's changing from a clean sound to a distorted sound. Now right at this bend is where many guitarists refer to this as sort of an edge of breakup point. I have a number here that I usually use for defining edge of breakup. It's as much engineering judgment and personal preference as it is anything else. This line right here becomes edge of breakup. Notice I'm clean to I'm a distorted sound, and midway between the clean and distorted sound, that's about where edge of breakup occurs. This slide is going to go compare the integrated overdrive to a tube screamer with the knobs at their min drive position. This was the case that I showed that the integrated overdrive can stay clean while the tube screamer distorts early. This is a function of where is the edge of breakup compared to where you're playing at the time. Notice that here, the difference between the two of where I'm playing clean and where it breaks up is people refer to this as headroom. So the integrated overdrive has a lot more headroom than a tube screamer. Where this knob is and how much distortion does that create is a function of a few factors. Your guitar's pickups, what strings you use, how aggressive are you at strumming your guitar. So that can adjust where that strumming might feel. For me, I tend to have a lighter touch, so I wanted to have this entire playing range here. I can play there and always stay clean. The next plot is going to show this is what happens at the middle position of the two pedals. This is the drive control at 12 o'clock for both. And now you see that going back between the two curves, you see that that curve's moved over to the left. In the case of the integrated overdrive, I'm just still, come on, just a tad later than the tube screamer. Again, I personally found that a lot of overdrive pedals have a little more overdrive on their typical position than I would typically like. If I want a lot of drive, I'm either going to go set the knob further or I want a distortion. And speaking of setting the knob further, mid to max, you see now the integrated overdrive actually has more drive on tap. I will start to saturate earlier than a tube screamer will. As a matter of fact, if I compare the settings for the integrated overdrive to a tube screamer, you get these sets of curves here. This is the min, integrated overdrive at min drive, at max drive, tube screamer at min drive, tube screamer at max drive. Because we discussed earlier, I have more headroom and I have more available saturation on tap. What this now shows is that my pedal actually has a more usable range of the drive knob. So not all pedals do this. There's a lot more going on here. If you start looking at these curves, people are going to go, oh, I got a slopes going here. What's with the slopes? What's this wacky stuff at the end here on the tube screamer? It definitely is a weird behavior up here, and it's consistent, but this one doesn't show as much going on. So what's happening there? These curves really give a lot of insight into how overdrives are designed, sound, and work. I'm going to cover those in future videos. If you're into these types of design deep dives, click like and subscribe. Mail it to a friend. Hey, mail it to people you don't like. Clogs their inbox, but I still get more views. Good for me. Also visit phase2music.com where you can buy both the integrated overdrive and the radical distortion pedals now. More breakdowns are coming. Thanks a lot. Have fun.